but I should live and wait till Bitcoin rises again.
A wise man said that we should reach 100K this month.
Really?
No,
So why are you lying to me then?
I don't know. Oh, I remembered now.
Huh?
And it's gone.
What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. So today is Saturday. Hope you are having an awesome weekend so far. Shout out to everyone that's been liking, subscribing, and commenting. You guys rule. Side note, before we get into it, few people were telling me they didn't get the updates. I do know that YouTube has been doing a little bit of tweaks in the background. I noticed my, my YouTube Creator Studio, they're updating it. So that being said, turn on the bell notification if you're not getting the updates. Just wanted to pass that forward to you guys. Having a look at the markets today, we are seeing it's a relatively mild day compared to what we've seen in the past. Now, having a look at the markets, Bitcoin is sitting around $3,662. XRP still holding steady at that number 2 spot, 33 cents, followed by Ethereum, $127. And we have Bitcoin Cash also holding steady at the 4th spot. Now, I wanted to talk about the biggest gainers of the day. We have Hypercash up a hyper amount, 56%, followed by Cash, another Cash, up 21.68%, and Bitcoin SV, which is a fork of Bitcoin Cash. So there you go, guys. Today, the secret was invest in things that have cash in them, okay? Also, we have Chainlink, Digitex Futures, Odom, Polymath, Mixin, and Walton Chain all doing quite well today. Having a look at the charts, not too much to go off of today, guys. You know I'm not massive TA over here, but I will say that this is looking a little dismal. It's kind of like, it almost looks like the chart is just giving up right now. So personally, what am I doing right now? I'm not buying, I'm not selling, I'm just doing nothing. Honestly, guys, I'm just keeping an eye on it. You don't always have to buy every time, the chart moves. So having a look, we do want to keep an eye on the chart. As soon as I see something, I'll let you guys know. Now, I wanted to talk about yesterday, we had Sunny Singh. He's the EO of fintech startup BitPay. Now, I'm not sure if you guys are aware of this. Oh, excuse me, he's actually the CCO. Anyway, he sat down with Bloomberg Opinions' Stephen Gandel and host Emily Chang, and they were talking about the Bitcoin price, because let's be real, that's what everybody's talking about, right? Well, we obviously know that Gandel's a bit of a skeptic, right? He doesn't really believe in Bitcoin, first noting that a leading driver for cryptocurrencies in 2017's bull run was that they were, as he put it, a port in the storm, or a hedge, if you will, specifically due to the non-inflationary nature of the assets. However, we do know that he is a skeptic of the theory that Bitcoin is clearly non-correlated, explains that a US stock fell, so he thinks that because the stocks fell, Bitcoin fell, and he says that they're connected. Now, we've gone over this time and time again. Bitcoin appears to be quite unrelated to what happens in traditional stocks, okay? For example, you had Bill Miller, the chief investment of Miller Value Partners. He explained that while no investor needs exposure to cryptocurrencies, their close to zero correlation with traditional equities makes them a great diversifier. We also had Anthony Pompliano coming out, and he's been one of the, de facto poster children of Bitcoin recently, and he even noted that the firm's data indicates that the correlation between Bitcoin and the S&P 500 is near zero. In fact, he's even got that bet going on right now that he says that Bitcoin will outperform the S&P 500 in the next decade, and he's doing $1 million bet, and that's still open if anybody out there wants to take the offer, okay? Now, of course, if he wins, they'll donate to charity, but so that they're pretty confident on that. But Singh also is calling for a potential $20,000 Bitcoin by the end of this year. Now, granted, 20,000 being our all-time high of last year, it's not improbable. We've seen a lot of charts that tend to think that if we follow the exact pattern, we should do somewhat of a bottoming out mid-May, which is a year leading up to the halvening, but there is still that potential for an unseen catalyst. Now, while we do have black swan events that are often tied to very negative things happening, we can have a positive black swan event too. There could be some amazing catalyst, right, that we don't even know right now that's unforeseen. So it's just something to keep in mind moving forward. Now, I want to just talk about this interesting article. So you have the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis has released an article today about Bitcoin, and in it, the bank notes that the price of Bitcoin has 3 potential futures: indefinite, infinite appreciation, 0, or somewhere in between. They believe it will be somewhere in between.
Thank you, Captain Obvious.
My work here is done.
Okay, well, outside of that very vague prediction, we have the authors, David and Andrew, conclude that one of the factors dragging down the price of Bitcoin is an ever-expanding supply of alternatives. Bitcoin is inherently, it's speculative and very volatile, but a fixed supply doesn't mean an ever-increasing value. Demand determines value. After all, other tokens are frequently launched which have properties attractive to a portion of the market. So if Bitcoin was the only cryptocurrency, something which was the case for a very short period of time, then they would assume more money would go into Bitcoin. Yet another really obvious thing that they're pointing out here, Federal Reserve. But, realistically, if you guys want to just go back and see the visual, it's pretty apparent. You can see there's over 2,104 cryptocurrencies in the space right now, and obviously it is diluting it. if we go to the Bitcoin dominance, which is more than half the market right now, which is still pretty incredible. So some people still ask, well, I don't understand why if Bitcoin's price falls, why does my altcoin fall? Well, because it's more than half percentage of the market, and most people are using Bitcoin to get in and out of the market, and also most trading pairs are with Bitcoin. But as you can see right here, if we were to go all the way back, Bitcoin had a 93.8% way back in May of 2013. Obviously, as you can see here, there's not as many coins because this gray line represents all cryptos. So you can see that all cryptos are actually higher than any other individual crypto outside of Bitcoin. So basically, it goes Bitcoin, all other cryptos, and then the top cryptos. So there is obviously a lot of competition, as we can see moving forward. So the Bitcoin maximalist argument that Bitcoin will usurp any improvements by any tokens has never actually come to fruition, right? We have seen a lot of other tokens out there developing other dApps that, people tend to call them, shit coins or whatever you want to call them, but there are a lot of projects out there that are able to do things. Even smart contracts, which we know that smart contracts are something that could potentially be brought to the Lightning Network and is being brought to the Lightning Network. Currently, right now, Bitcoin itself does not have the capability of smart contract functions. Also talking about the intrinsic value of Bitcoin, they say, you know what? Let's just consider the bearish situation. The outlook is based on the view that Bitcoin has no fundamental value and that sooner or later the market will recognize this fact. So they say, in our view, one can accept that Bitcoin trades above its fundamental value without claiming that its fundamental value is zero. In fact, many securities trade above what might be considered their fundamental value. For example, you have gold trades well above its value as measured by its industrial applications. If you think about it realistically, okay, we do use gold in electronics for certain things, but as you guys know, the entire global, supply of gold could fit in an Olympic-sized swimming pool, and that's worth over $7 trillion. So you have to ask yourself, is that really an accurate representation of the value of gold? Well, whether or not you believe it is, right? So as noted before, Bitcoin's actual utility is a secure digital store of value and transfer of the same. Other blockchains have taken and dominated the blockchain aspect of cryptocurrency. Despite the global chaos, demand for cryptographically secure payment systems isn't necessarily popping. I would argue it is. In certain countries, we've seen, Venezuela, everyone talks about that. But, is it feasible that people will come into contact with blockchain technology through banking applications as well as other decentralized applications in established countries, outside of speculation, like we're getting into it because we actually need it? Well, that comes down to the killer app or the killer dApp, right? Developing something that's not only just as good, but better. And once we can do that, well, why wouldn't you switch, right? So such things will generate demand for tokens that underpin those blockchains. They mention tokens like Ethereum, Tron, Neo. They even talk about ELF. They have long-term technical propositions that Bitcoin, somewhat lags on as well. Now, I wanted to talk about the SEC because apparently they are making the examination of cryptos an absolute priority in 2019, which I'm sure half of you are going to say that's a bad thing and half of people out there might say it's a good thing, but I think that the fact that they're paying attention just adds the legitimacy to the space. So they say cryptocurrencies will be one of the biggest priorities for the SEC in 2019. According to the SEC's Office of Compliance, Inspections, and Examinations, or the OCIE, this will be done with a view of protecting retail investors in the nascent asset class. Among the market activities that the OCI will monitor include the offer and sale, trading, and management of digital assets. In cases where the digital asset is clarified as a security, the goal of the SEC's compliance wing will be to ensure regulatory compliance going forward. Market participations in the digital asset space can expect a higher level of scrutiny from the OCIE. So now we have the OCIE getting involved, all right? So the inclusion of cryptocurrencies as an examination priority was also on the agenda of the OCIE in 2018, but then the focus was more on ensuring the security of digital assets and enlightening investors of the risks of making such investments. But like I said, take this as you will. I think the fact that they're just looking at it, that they're considering it of importance, is good enough for me right now. However, like I've stated, I do hope that the US isn't too slow to make regulatory advancements as these other jurisdictions are really taking off as far as the blockchain and crypto space is concerned. So that's something I just wanted to note. Now, some people are saying that the selling pressure from Bitcoin from long-term holders is almost exhausted. Now, this is according to Delphi Digital in their most recent report entitled Bitcoin Holder Analysis Through Cycles. So they're a New York-based crypto research firm, and they updated their analysis of UTXOs, or unspent transaction outputs, okay? Among other data as well. But on the Bitcoin network over time, they've looked at this, and based on their analysis, they predict that this is the bottom, or that we're extremely close to the bottom. They think that the longest it'll take is somewhere maybe potentially in this Q1 or by the second half. Now, we've had our eyes on May, so this isn't any type of surprise. And in fact, they're doubling down on their earlier assessments, again stating that their UTXO analysis results in a cluster of dates that indicates a bottom in Q 2019 is very, very possible. We went into some of this yesterday, but I'm going to dive a little bit deeper. So they surmise that the longer a coin has been dormant and unmoved, the less likely it is that the coin's owner will sell it. The owner has officially become a holder. Now, we're going to exclude all of the Bitcoins that we know that got lost, that were, people threw away their private keys, and also Satoshi has his own. So that's roughly around 4 million. So we're going to try to just ignore those, okay, for now. Now, the research group have applied the principles to this UTX pools across the entire Bitcoin history and derived a pattern relationship between the age of the pool and Bitcoin. They observed that the UTXO pool reaches its maximum overall age, where it is its least volatile during the starts of uptrends. Adversely, they see that the pool reaches its minimum age, which is when it's most volatile. So after price peaks and during the bubble pops. So what they found right now is that the pool is aging, and in accordance with the historical example, they consider this to be a period of accumulation. Now, take this with a grain of salt. We know that past performance doesn't mean that this is what we're going to see happening again, but based on the data, they think that this is what's happening. Now, what's crazy is if you look at the fact that you have all these dormant wallets, you also have this other article looking at the flip side, saying that according to a high number of long inactive Bitcoin holders, defined as those that haven't transferred their Bitcoin between 6 and 30 months, they have begun to actually transfer their coins, resulting in wallets active over the past months now, holding around 60% of the coin's circulating supply. That's a lot of wallets. So some of these wallets that have been dormant for months and months and months are now springing back to activity, and they're saying that they're holding more than 60% of Bitcoin's circulating supply. So the question is, why are these guys getting so active when we're so far low on the totem pole? I mean, you know what I'm saying? You held all the way down from 20K, and now at, 3,600, you're going to start moving the Bitcoin around. I'm just curious what that means. But overall, the supply of active Bitcoins has reportedly surged 40% since summer of 2018. Okay, so that's like mid-year last year, right? We were halfway through the bear market. And they said it's definitely a big shift. There's more potential than usual for price swings. So this is why I say going forward, we could definitely see a turbulent Q1 and Q2. So Flipside CEO David Balter emphasized to Bloomberg that its long-term holders in particular, many of whom remain idle during the volatile markets of the past years, who are now back on the active radar. Stone added that the trend could continue, saying, "We have no reason to expect them to remain stagnant for another 2+ years." Also, tightly clustered ownership of Bitcoin, with around 1,000 wallet addresses, as we know, is reported to own around 85% of all Bitcoins. As you guys know, I put out a video, we were talking about this the other day, about how the whales, it's such a small percentage of holders that own such a massive amount, right? So this is something to be, conscious of, and this is also one of the reasons why I've heard a lot of new investors are scared to get involved because of the amount that's held in such small percentage of wallets. So that is just something I wanted to point out. Now, speaking about, investing and getting wrecked and the average individual, well, there was basically this dude over here, what's his name? Peter McCormick. So he was a Bitcoin investor that lost $1 million in the bear market. Now, granted, this is his amazing story. He only started with $6,400, okay? And he invested in 2016, obviously as the price went up. It says he did buy more Bitcoin, and then the value of his holdings spiked to $300,000 in the spring of 2017. As the excitement, built, he got more excited. And eventually it says his portfolio went up to $1.2 million at the all-time high of 2017. And then he goes on to say, like other newbie investors who, had that get-rich-quick mentality, he basically, he cashed out, he spent it on a bunch of things. He says, "I was traveling the world doing interviews for my podcast." That's not a bad thing. I mean, spending your money on traveling the world, oh no, it's not that big of a deal, man. I would love to travel more. Taking friends out to expensive restaurants and buying extravagant gifts for my family, still not a bad thing. I mean, nice to buy people gifts. But anyway, long story short, by January 2018, the Bitcoin price came down from its all-time highs. He lost most of his money, but he still does his podcast. And according to him, he says that he would prefer his podcast over the 1.2 million that he lost. Okay, we would assume most people would say that, but despite his experience, he still believes that Bitcoin is a force for good. For example, he noted that women in Afghanistan are not allowed to open bank accounts but can still work and get paid in Bitcoin. He says, "My main focus now is exploring how Bitcoin can help stabilize an increasingly volatile world." Peter McCormick's riches to rags story is being touted on social media as a cautionary tale about the dangers of crypto. However, it bears noting that far from people that have invested in traditional stocks and traditional investments have lost far more. This is a funny story, actually. When I was a kid, my dad had the opportunity to invest in two different companies. One was called MySocialLife.com and one was called MySpace.com. Well, he didn't invest in MySpace. Let's just say that. And, not that MySpace is even around right now, but had he invested at that time, man, that would have been, but we all make mistakes, and it's funny because, for example, you have John McAfee. He lost $100 million during the 2008 global recession, and he straight out says he's not paying taxes anymore. He's publicly saying this to the IRS. "We declared our independence from Britain and fought a bloody war to escape burdensome taxes, yet here we are less than 250 years later being burdened by income taxes that are more crushing than anything the British dreamed of. Free yourselves, people." By the way, I have no issue with any of my friends from the UK. That happened a while ago, guys, but I don't like paying taxes either. I'm not a fan of it, but we all have to do it. I do have a poll on Twitter, guys. I'm curious right now. So I put this out, actually just before the video, and I said 2018 was a rough year for many in the space. I'm curious, how bad has your portfolio actually been hit if you're down? And then why have you decided to stay in the space? And also, I was curious, what lessons have you learned and what do you plan on doing differently this time around? So as of right now, 7% have lost less than 25%, 33% have lost between 25% and 75%, 46% have lost more than 75%, and congratulations to the 14% of you guys that are actually still up right now. So if you guys want, head over to Twitter and, you can vote on this poll, see what's going on. If you guys want, you could follow me. It's at the Crypto Zombie on Twitter, or honestly, if you want, you could just leave it right here. I get it. You don't want to go to another site. Just drop your comments below. Now, before we get on, guys, I just wanted to point out this crazy thing that happened on Twitch. So this dude was just doing his live stream. He's a sick nerd, I believe his name is. And all of a sudden, look at this. He literally just got 4 Bitcoin. Look, he's in shock. Like, you can hear him. Like,
what? Is that real?
So yeah, that's nuts, dude. Maybe I should quit and just start doing gaming channels. What do you guys think? It seems like this guy gets 4 Bitcoin donated. I'm in the wrong business here. I need to start doing gaming videos. But anyway, segueing into talking about some stuff. This is weird. Okay, so HBUS, which has been the exclusive U.S. partner of crypto giant exchange Huobi, will now be called by the same name. The rebranding includes a change in domain names for both companies. So it was Huobi, then they separated, they broke it into 2 different entities, but now HBUS is being called Huobi, and now Huobi is being moved over to HGB.com. So this report literally says, this change will probably throw people off for some time. Yeah, I agree. Okay, now here is let's talk about this. So according to Simon Morris, former chief strategy officer at BitTorrent, he says Tron will not be able to manage the transaction volume needed to tokenize BitTorrent. Now, Tron has been having a really, really good run recently. We've seen them having a lot of, I thought, good news, but according to the interview, Morris noted that when he worked at BitTorrent, he and his team discovered that bringing a token in automated auctions to prioritize download queues could increase the speed of the network by up to 40%. Nevertheless, though, he states that there's no way that the Tron blockchain could handle the transaction volumes that such a great system would require. According to him, his team needs hundreds of transactions per second just to get started. He added that you hear all the BS out there like, 10,000 transactions, this and that. He says it's all crap. We're going to melt Tron, literally destroy it. He also described Tron saying it's basically a marketing machine layered on a very thin veneer of technology. Explaining his point, he reportedly told the news outlet that Justin Sun is very strong at marketing, but he doesn't have a technical bone in his body. Morris left BitTorrent last July, reportedly after concluding that he would not be able to develop any trust and relationships with Tron executives. Now, in response, a Tron spokesperson basically said in private that Morris appears to have little insight into BitTorrent and their operational plans since his departure, saying that actions and executions will prove louder than the words of a disgruntled former employee. What do you guys think about this? What is your take on this right now? Also, just so you guys know, I haven't really done a lot of interviews on the channel lately, and I haven't really done a lot of coin reviews. Been pulling back right now. I noticed more people are concerned about what's happening. However, I did reach out to Justin Sun to do an interview on the channel, just so you guys know. I reached out to them on 2 different platforms, and they've yet to agree to do an interview on the channel, so I don't know why. I'd like to talk to Justin Sun, so I'm very interested with all this Tron excitement. If you guys would like me to get Justin on the channel, not as a shill, just like sit down, talk with the guy, see what's going on, discuss the ecosystem, let me know. Because that's something that I've been interested in. And if you guys are in the Tron community, maybe someone can, let them know I'm interested. I'd like to see what's going on. So anyway, let's talk about Cardano. That's another guy I'd like to have on the channel, Hoskinson. He'd be cool. But anyway, Cardano says they're going to enter their next phase, Shelley. So the Shelley phase of the project follows the Byron phase and will introduce a fully decentralized network with staking and delegation to the network. So the key feature in the next phase is going to be the introduction of the open Ouroboros delegation, which Cardano is currently implementing in code. Cardano also recently released their white paper on proof of stake sidechains. I know a lot of you have already seen that, so that's pretty good news moving forward. And Charles Hoskinson actually said that the network will be 50 to 100 times more decentralized with the Shelley update. The distribution of power is made possible through Cardano's decision to allow for more than 1,000 staking pools and complete autonomy. So you got to respect Cardano, man. They're really, really, really stressing that decentralized thing. In fact, that whole issue that they had before, where you had people stepping down and all that stuff, right? That was all based on, their concern with there being too much power in the hands of, the few, which I think is a really, really cool thing moving forward. Also want to real quick just give a shout out to Elastos. They have 900,000 TV boxes sold, 180,000 registered DID users via a view chain, and our new wallet hit the App Store, all in their weekly update, which you guys can check out here. I'll drop a link below to that. Also, I forget who it was that was reaching out to me in the Telegram, the Crypto Zombies chat. We were talking about high performance blockchain. Well, they've recently released their launch event, and they have their HPB BOE acceleration engine. There's some shots of the chips, not too many. It's mostly them just talking. You can see right here, these are some of their hardware that boards that they've created. Most of this is just talking, and a lot of it is translated. So if you guys want, check it out. That's from High Performance Blockchain. Now, moving on, I got a little bit of good news before we go, and then we are out of here because it's Saturday, and who wants to sit around watching YouTube videos all day, right? So, we have Wyoming has reportedly passed 2 new House bills that aim to foster a regulatory environment conducive to cryptocurrency and blockchain innovation. So it looks like Wyoming's really been, moving lately. Is that why Cardano's so interested in Wyoming? Interesting. Maybe I'll have to check it out. So this is good. So only the status of one bills, though. The Bill 62 has been updated on their state legislator page. So entitled Wyoming Utility Token Act Property Amendments, Bill 62 is significant in establishing a new asset class, defining open blockchain tokens with specific consumptive characteristics, etc. The open blockchain tokens governed by this act. I'm not going to read this because really it just classifies it, okay? But Bill 57 is the second one, and this is called Financial Technology Sandbox and pertains to the creation of a fintech regulatory sandbox, a supervised and flexible testing environment that provides waivers for certain statuses and rules that would otherwise hamper innovation. So more good news. I mean, this is not bad news. These are all just baby steps that we're taking, towards making all of this make sense, right? So I like to see these things moving forward. They make me happy. And before we get going, I do want to remind you, I found this chart on Reddit, and it's 20 years of internet giants, and it just really puts into perspective how early, for example, people in 1998, look, you had AOL, number 1. Number 2, Yahoo. Number 3, GeoCities, right? Fast forward to 2003. Now AOL's number 2 and Yahoo is number 1, right? But now you got some new guys on here. You got eBay, you got the Weather Channel, you got Walmart. Now fast forward to 2008, Google's on top, okay? Microsoft is now in there as well. Yeah, guys, and now you can see Google, Facebook, Amazon, Microsoft, Disney, okay, PayPal, which wasn't even in there in 2013. So, guys, technology is an ever-evolving space. We don't know what's going to happen, Bitcoin, he's the granddaddy. He's been around for a while, but will he be replaced by another crypto? It's possible. It could be. But short term, it has the most establishment, has the highest percentage of the market cap, been around the longest. Lindy Effect says if something's been around for so long, chances are it'll be around for that long again. So we already celebrated a decade of Bitcoin. Chances are we're going to be celebrating another decade of Bitcoin. That being said, guys, I want to say thank you so much for coming back to my channel. But no, I did not forget the giveaway, guys. We are giving away a Jupiter cold storage wallet right here, guys. You're going to get one just like this. It's going to be black, which is pretty cool because the one on the website is white. So you have a collectible there. Okay, so, oh yeah, let's go to the video from yesterday. And we will do our raffle. Here we go. Let's check this baby out. All right. So it looks like, wow, 561 comments. Jeez, you guys, that's a lot of comments, guys. All right, let's check it. This is why I have difficulty getting back to all these comments. I try to read them, guys. I really do. All right. Hi. I just want to let you know that my friends and I love your videos and the comments about crypto on your videos. Keep up the great work. Thank you. Awesome. Appreciate it, Raul. But you didn't say anything about the shirt. I don't know if you wanted one. Usually we say something about the shirt, so I'm gonna pick another winner. But if for some reason you did want the shirt, let me know. Maybe I could get you one. Although I don't have a lot right now. You gotta talk to Crypto J. Okay, there we go. Boy Pepple, pick me, wanna win. Well, I didn't pick you, this picked you, but hey, you won. So Boy Pepple, all you gotta do is go over here to the About Me section and just email me, we'll verify, we'll get that all figured out, etc. And you'll be good to go. That being said, guys, I also wanted to just remind you, the Ledger Nano X is available for pre-order right here. They are still doing the Genesis Block edition. I do have an affiliate link below, guys. Doesn't cost you anything extra, definitely helps the channel out, and I do appreciate it. That being said, guys, if you want, head over here to my crypto poll on Twitter. Definitely let me know, how much have you lost? Why have you stayed in it if you have lost? And then what are you going to do different this time? I'm curious, and maybe we'll discuss this in tomorrow's video, okay? That being said, you guys freaking rule. Everyone that's been liking, subscribing, commenting, seriously, you're the reason that I wake up and I do this every single day. I swear, it really is. That being said, my name's K-Dub. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, okay? And until then, stay crypto, and peace out.